like to call the regular village board meeting for the village of Shorewood to order on July the 9th in the year 2013. The invocation tonight be given by your mayor. If you'd please stand. Lord, if you would, look down upon this meeting, get into the officials' hearts, and get some good ideas out of them and some good cooperation. Other than that, please bless the armed forces, all the personnel in the armed forces that are in harm's way tonight, our police officers, our fire, who stand in the way of harm in order to keep us safe. I do this in the name of you. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Tracy, roll call, please.
Anderson.
Here.
Brockman.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
Murphy.
Here.
Warren.
Here.
And me.
Mayor Chapman.
Here. At least they've allowed me to stay as a member of the board for a while.
I know, I don't think I've ever
Okay.
called your name before.
I'm sure they would work on that if they could. Trustee Swartz, talked to her earlier. She's feeling under the weather. Seems like she's got something that's been going around here lately, and she's feeling pretty ill, so. Advised her that, hopefully it was kind of a short meeting, very little business to take care of, and that she should stay in bed or stay near the TV set and take care of herself so she can get back here, be strong again. So, okay. We'll move on now to citizens. Are there any citizens that wish to address the board or any people that live downstairs?
It feels like I live downstairs.
You can state your name and organization just for the record.
Good evening, I'm Denise Schmidt. I'm actually a resident here in Shorewood at 322 South Louisa, but most of the time you can find me downstairs at the Shorewood Chamber office. I'm in Suite 103. This evening, I just wanted to come to you and let you know what's happening with the Chamber, and specifically what changes are taking place towards Crossroads Fest. Nothing of any grand importance, unless you have a family member has a special needs child. This year, out of a conversation I had last year with a mom who called the day before Crossroads Fest and said, my son is autistic. He can handle the carnival or he can handle the crowds, but he can't do both together. It's too much stimulation. Well, unfortunately, she called me on the Thursday before Crossroads Fest opened, and there was really no way to turn that particular boat around and make an accommodation. This year, though, I promised her that we would. So for Friday between 2 and 4 p.m. this year, we're having a carnival pre-party. Any family in the Shorewood area who has a member that could use a little assistance getting on and off of a ride, has a special needs that is medically demonstrated, or simply has somebody that needs a little extra help, you can come free of charge. It will be subsidized by the chamber members as well as the carnival provider, and they will have unlimited rides and a guest host for the family through the carnival. We are not asking folks to segregate themselves from the rest of Shorewood. That's not our intention. Our parks are beautifully designed and they are ADA compliant so that any minute of the fest, anyone can enjoy it. But if you as a parent or a grandparent feel you might want to take a little extra time without the big crowds, you're welcome to bring your family as a whole. We don't want just the child who has special needs, the entire family. It should be the same memories that everybody else in Shorewood has. We've been very blessed that the police department, through their Illinois Torch Run for Special Olympics, and Officer Allen has stepped up to help us make some of those connections within the community. And we have a focus group of members or general members of the public to help the chamber kind of design some programs that would be appropriate for all ages to come to those 2 hours. So that's a new initiative that the chamber is sponsoring that we'd like you to be aware of. And if you can tell anybody you know in town or anybody in our little collar area that they'd like to come to the fest, please just have them call my office, and we'll make sure that there's balloons and a t-shirt and a host for the family ready and willing to help them out. The other thing we're doing this year for Crossroads Fest is we're actually extending the fest itself. In talking with our Public Works folks, they let me know that we actually had electrical hookups on the north end of that park that we were not utilizing to the best of our ability. So we've stretched the carnival and put the rides on the north end closest to Walnut Trails School, kept everything else, including a car show, a craft and vendor show, and the Eat Street and entertainment area towards the south end. And Roger has been very kind in giving us extra parking on the north side, as well as extra signage to indicate that there's parking on the north side. We understand that there's going to be a little bit of a bump this year. People are used to entering off of Sile Road. They're going to come in, they're going to pull in, they're going to park their car, and they're going to walk to where the rides used to be, and then they're going to turn around and look at me and say, "Lady, why did you put all those rides all the way down at the other end of the park?" We're going to try to keep that to a bare minimum by making sure that all of our advertising clearly states that if you have an issue with walking, or you would like to simply park closer to the rides, you can do that off of Windstone. If you'd like to park closer to the food, the craft show, and the car show, you can do that in the normal parking lot on Sile Road. The other thing that the village has been very, very kind about, and I'm here to thank you on behalf of our board and our members, is that the poles, the light poles in Four Seasons Park now hold banners that are clearly showing Crossroads Fest, first full weekend in August with the Crossroads Fest insignia, and members of our community here in Shorewood who have paid to be a sponsor of those banners. Every year they will go out 1st of June, come down in September, just give a little bit more presence to the park at Four Seasons. And finally, we'd like to thank you very much for allowing the Chamber to participate with the Parks program that's been going on. Summer in Shorewood out here at Town Center has been extremely successful. We've gotten great feedback from our businesses who are very happy about being there. Every single one of our businesses who has participated in what we called Business on the Bridge, which we actually moved off the bridge because we found out it was a little far of a hike. Now it's Business by the Bridge. We can at least wave to the bridge. Every one of those businesses who have participated have said that they've had direct business come in their door because of their exposure during the Summer in Shorewood process. We've had wonderful cooperation from the village, and that has not always been the kind of relationship that the village and the chamber has enjoyed, and we really appreciate how much you've participated with us to make our program stronger, and we hope we've brought some value to the village as well. If anybody doesn't have any questions, if you got any questions about what's going on with the chamber?
Yeah, that was on the Friday, the August 2nd?
Correct, Friday, August 2nd from 2 until 4 p.m.
Okay. On normal days of rides, where somebody's got, well, I know some rides you can't get on if you've got too severe of a handicap. But do they get to go ahead at all or not?
Yes. Yes, if there is a condition that it requires that is either some special time to get on and off of the ride, or it is really unhealthy for someone to be in line and they have a demonstrable medical condition, not just, geez, it's hot, we will make sure that they go to the front of the line and that the carnival operators are all cross-trained. If there is a concern by the carnival operator that they may not be able to adequately assist someone on or off the ride, we will defer to the parent or the legal guardian, have them assist on or off. Every place in our park for Crossroads Fest, including the entertainment tent, is roll-up ready. And we make sure that our wash stations and our wash rooms are also ADA compliant, and we have more than enough to accommodate anyone's needs. We want to make sure that everyone has a great time with their family. If you need help getting in and out of the parking area, we have designated handicap parking. But if it really is a matter of, gosh, that's a long way for grandma to walk with the kids, we've got 4 golf carts that our board members will be walking around, and we'll be more than happy to assist if we really have a problem.
One item, with the trouble with the name, I was wondering if you could get all the dentists together and make it business on your bridge.
Ed,
Sorry.
yeah. We love you, but you got a sick sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one needs a replay anyway. It's obvious the press isn't here tonight, you know. I'm thinking vacations and.
Right.
And all that, and holiday coming in off the 4th of July. But are you gonna get the word into
Absolutely.
both
While
papers?
I was on vacation last week, I actually did a telephone interview with Claire from the Sentinel, and she's going to run that hopefully as a front page article coming up this week. We've also got multiple Chinook Weekly, the Times Herald, all of the online purveyors also have the articles. We're going to make sure that they hit once within the next week, and then again right before the fest. Our primary print media this year is, again, with the Sentinel papers. They were good this year and put us in the Out and About guide that went out at the end of May, so that's been out in everybody's hands all the way up to Palatine. God bless them if they want to come down for Crossroads Fest, we'd love to have them, but I think it was a little far afield. But they are also devoting a quarter-page ad this week, a quarter-page ad next week, a banner connection on their online presence that will jump directly to crossroadsfest.com, and that'll run for the remainder of the month of July. And then the last week prior to the fest, the publication of July 31st, will have the back page and the back cover of the newspaper completely devoted to Crossroads Fest, including a map of the park showing the 2 new designations for parking, and folks can simply tear that off and bring it with them. You can also find all of that information on crossroadsfest.com.
Okay, and I'll be making announcements on CCQ and WJOL.
Yeah, we've actually got, in addition to your presence, Scott Slocum has said that he'd like to have us back. I was already on WJOL once last month, and Next Media, with all 5 of their stations, will be covering us with public service announcements as well as radio spots in exchange for a sponsorship. So I think we've got a good handle on advertising and publicizing all of the different events at Crossroads Fest this year. Obviously, we can always use a little bit more presence, so whatever you guys can do out in the neighborhood, you see your constituents. I know all of you may or may not have a clubhouse at your own subdivisions. Ed, I'm talking to you. I'm going to get you a poster which is identical to the ones downstairs in our windows. And anybody who's got a question, crossroadsfest.com, or simply call the chamber office. You can always find me around, and if you can't, it rolls over to my cell phone.
Didn't they extend
Yes.
the bracelet time too for that cheaper fare this year?
We actually have 4 different options when it comes to unlimited rides. Each day of the fest, there are unlimited ride hours, and that's a $20 wristband fee. Friday, it's 4 until 8. Saturday and Sunday, it's 1 until 5. But for $60, you can buy a wristband that's called a Mega Pass, and that's good for every hour the fest is open. So it exponentially takes that $60 that bought you 12 hours, and that $60 now buys you 27 hours. Those are on sale here in the building. If I'm not in my office, somebody in the building department has that to purchase, plus Heartland Bank, which is our presenting sponsor again this year, and by the way, they have signed up to be the presenting sponsor for the next 4 years. So we're covered with that, and we have a wonderful relationship with them. They're selling them, BMO Harris is selling them, and the Shorewood Troy Library has them for sale. So those wristband hours, I think the Mega Pass is really the best value of the fest. If you have kids that are going to be there every day, that is by far the most economical way for a family to have fun at Crossroads Fest. There is another option called a Family Pass, which gets you $20 worth of individual tickets and $20 worth of chamber bucks, which you can use for any food or beverage, including the entertainment tent with adult beverages after 5. And that's $35. So if you've got a really young child that may only go on 1 or 2 rides, I'm talking the under 5-year-olds in the crowd, that may be a better option, but parents can always ask about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Denise, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. There are no other citizens of which to address the board. We'll move on to tonight's consent agenda, which consists of approval of the regular minutes from June the 25th, approval of accounts payable in the amount of $361,884.78. Number 3, approval of a payment in the amount of $13,000 to Camp Synergy for new skated control at the Sal Road lift station. Number 4, approval of a payment in the amount of $33,992.10 to Frank Berlin's Sons for work completed at West Shore Park. Approval of a payment in the amount of $381,104.21 to P.T. Farrell for work completed on the 2013 MFT program. And then finally, approval of a payment in the amount of $40,394 to Conley Excavating for work completed on the Sal Road Force Main relocation. Are there any items on tonight's consent agenda a trustee would like removed for further review, or are there any questions on the consent?
I'd just like to correct, the planning and zoning meeting is actually the 10th. In the minutes, it was stated as the 11th. So tomorrow night, July.
In the minutes? Tracy?
Okay.
Did you get that?
I'll correct that.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
Tracy, roll call, please.
Warren,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Consent agenda stands approved. We'll move on tonight to tonight's very short, hopefully, order of business. Business item number 1, I'd like to present to you tonight, present before you. Oh, yeah. I didn't have any report for tonight, but there was something that you wanted to bring up, wasn't there?
Yes, there is one item I would like to bring up. We had a great ceremony honoring the age of our country on 4th of July. I received a couple of phone calls from members of the community that I was quite concerned about. The community members did suggest that they expected to hear fireworks on the 3rd and the 4th, and I do know the police were out there attempting to control these things, but we don't have a police force the size necessary to stop it. But they kept going for the next few days. The problem was we've got people in our community that are suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome that has kept them up at nights with these fireworks. I think it's an issue of control by the citizens to take care of their own neighborhoods to make sure it stops. I don't know how to suggest that it's not going to happen on the 4th of July, but the extended times, it seems to me that the community could control itself in that way, and I would really like to have people understand that it is not just a matter of the noise, it's a matter of both safety and other people that are disturbed in other than they don't like to hear a loud boom. There's a real reason there. In that sense, I would really like to ask that when we have future ceremonies like this, that the ceremonies be limited to the appropriate times. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, being how I didn't have a report, I'd like to move on now to the order of business tonight. And first, what I'd like to present is Mr. Ken Votava. You may recognize the name. He was on the ballot for trustee at this last village election. Been a friend of mine. I've known Ken now for, I don't know, 15 or so years, 20 maybe. And he's with the Troy Fire Department. He just now has completed, I believe, he completed his paramedic certificate, so he's also running with the ambulance. I realized he's been involved with the community and community service for many years. And he stepped forward here a few months back and said that he would like to get more involved. So I have sat down and talked to him then about an opening that I knew that was coming up on planning and zoning. And he said he'd be very interested. He'd love to start to learn more of the process of the way the village operates and the way the village works. And so I'd like to kind of present Ken, if he'd come up. I'd also like to make a correction on the one-year term is actually a two-year term. One-year terms were only for the original planning and zoning board. Okay, when you look back at the codes and the ordinances, it shows that there were 4 members that were brought on for one-year term, 4 members that were brought on for 2-year terms. And that was the same way the village board, they wanted to stagger the village board so that if perchance there was massive turnover, that you would only lose half of the board and you would keep some experience kind of moving on. So at any rate, I'd like to present Ken. He did his fire duty today at the station and came down here. About 10 days ago, I emailed all the trustees and asked them if they wanted to talk to Ken, get some ideas about a little more about who he was and how his thoughts worked. And so I hope you all received that. I realized that I had one address that didn't quite get to a trustee in a timely fashion, and I'll correct that. Okay. But Ken, would you like to introduce yourself before this board votes?
Yeah, thanks everybody. Excuse me, my name's Ken Votava. Did not prepare a speech, didn't expect to be up at the podium tonight, but appreciate the opportunity to work with the village, help the community, and that's really the only reason I'm here is just to help the community. So it's not about me or anything else. Would you like a brief summary of who I am, or what do you like?
Just a little.
Just a little.
Okay, just a little. I think I already rolled into it quite a bit, okay?
Lived in the village 10 years now. Lived in Joliet previously, moved out from Downers Grove area. Became a fireman over 10 years ago with Troy. Started as a volunteer, then paid on call, then part-time, now full-time, and I still work part-time as well. Just completed paramedic, as Rick stated, and working on my degree in EMS, hopefully pursuing more things in emergency medicine field as time goes on, but we'll take it day by day. And me in a nutshell.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Just one question. I mean, I didn't know if you had any background at all in the construction industry or not.
Well, being in the fire service, yeah, we're familiar with building codes. I did take building construction in college, so life safety, replanning, yes, I don't have any formal schooling as like an architect or, some drafting in high school, but yeah, we're well versed with codes, being that I'm with the fire department.
Okay.
Okay. Turn this one over to.
Thank you, Mayor. Little background, Planning and Zoning Board consists of 8 commissioners, and a vacancy was created when Dan Warren decided to run for trustee and won. So that's why Ken is here this evening, and with the mayor's recommendation, and I agreed with it. And if there's no other discussion, make a motion to approve Ken Vatava to Planning and Zoning Commission for a 2-year term.
Second.
Okay, Tracy, roll call, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Your first meeting is tomorrow night, Mr. Votava. And that one starts at 7 o'clock also. So I'm sure that the chairman, trustee Brockman, is going to be pleased to introduce you to the rest of the crew. So
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
thanks
Thank you.
thanks for stepping forward, and I know you'll do a great job for him.
Well, he's gonna do a great job.
Yeah.
Lots of faith.
Okay. All right. Business item number 2, consideration for approval of a reappointment of Dwayne Gronwald and Ellen Kajowski to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 2-year term. Trustee Brockman?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Dwayne Grunwald, if I'm correct in this, was appointed in 1998 for the first time, so he's going to start his 15th year. Ellen Kajowski took my position when I became trustee, so she's been on there for 2 years. And they both, I asked both of them if they'd liked another 2-year term, and they both said yes. So with that, I'd like to approve Dwayne Grunwald and Lane Kajowski for a 2-year term on planning and zoning.
Second.
Okay, Tracy, roll call, please.
Brockman,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes. Excuse me.
Warren,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Okay, the appointment of Ellen and Dwayne stands approved. Uniform them tomorrow night. Okay, we'll move on to reports. Trustee Dan Anderson and Dan Warren, Public Works Committee.
All right, thanks. We have MFT, it's just about wrapped up. Landscape restoration is still out there to be done, sod work and dirt work, so the road work and the curb's all done. Just continuous street sweeping that's going on, and we're still doing the treatment of ash trees, and ash trees are still being treated, so. And then Shorewood Glen, I was over there last week and then over Sunday taking a look at it. They did get the epoxy in the one court that wasn't surfaced. Looks good, looks real good. And actually the ones that were surfaced looked good. So, I don't think any issue should be of any more of this, as far as from what I can see, it's all cosmetic work. I don't think there's any structural problems. I think it's gonna be good. So.
Is that street lighting they're putting on Sile? Is that what they started, Roger?
Yes,
Okay.
part of the bond work for Shorewood.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, Trustee Steve Brockman, Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, we have our next meeting will be tomorrow night here at 7 o'clock. And we have 2 agenda items. The first one is a final plat for Shorewood Public Works Site subdivision. Consider approval of final plat of subdivision for village property located on the north side of Mound Road, west of the railroad tracks, and in-bridge pump station. And the second item will be a variance for 4303 West Jefferson Street. That's Mark's Service Center. And he wants to, wants us to consider sign variance to Shorewood Village Code 10-10-3 and 10-10-7A regarding sign height, square footage, setback, style, and inclusion of a message board for a monument sign. And that will be a public hearing on that. And so that's tomorrow night here at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for trustee Brockman? Not trustee Jim McDonald, Ed Murphy for Citizens Advisory Committee. Except we're not
I had nothing because we're on our vacation from that now, but we were working to get stuff organized. Unless Ed, I haven't had a chance to talk to him. He's got something to go ahead with it.
Yeah.
No, I have nothing.
Okay, we'll move on. Trustee McDonald, I realized it was kind of late in the game for Sini to shift anything over about Parks and Recreation, but pretty much, I think Denise
I have-
covered a lot.
Pardon?
Denise from the chamber covered a lot, okay?
Yeah, it covered more than my knowledge. I haven't been getting any information on the committee, so I don't really know what's transpiring outside of what I read in the newspapers and so forth.
But I think she did mention Thursday nights, okay? So, oh,
That came in the mail today.
this came in the mail. Did this come to every house?
Mm-hmm.
I got it
Shorewood?
today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this is the annual Crossroads Festival thing. If you get this in the mail, it's hard to miss, okay? And you've got sponsors on the back for
Doesn't have the Thursday night stuff on there, too?
40% off blinds. And it does have, right, July the 11th, this Thursday, a dolphin tale. Plus animal adoption and interaction event. So if you're looking for a pet, I got a feeling those people are gonna be here on Thursday night, so, and then the following week, July 18th, there's gonna be a band, at the band shell. Shindig, yeah? Plus a flower power night and a classic VW bug cruise night. You got one of them hidden around? Okay. So for full schedule of summer events, visit www.summerinshorewood.com. Okay. So this would be something to, if you could get this thing, it weighs about 5 pounds. If you could get this thing to hang on the refrigerator, this would be a good item, okay? Okay. Now, that Mark's service station that's up at Planning and Zoning?
Yes.
That's the service station on the east side, that's the mobile station on the east side of I-55.
It's our borderline.
Okay,
Coming
it's,
into-
it's kind of borderline, right on the edge of Shorewood. And, so, we'll keep abreast at what, planning and zoning, what they come up with that issue, okay? If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Tracy, roll call.
McDonald,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Warren,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
We stand adjourned. Good after a holiday.
I don't know what.
Okay.